Some people believe if we repeat stories often enough, they become real.
Okay, I think we can all pretty much agree that we have some pretty scary stories that have happened to us recently or when we were much younger. I've had TVs turned on with no one home and no batteries in the TV remote. I've heard footsteps when everyone was asleep, and I think I felt Santa when I was 6 or 7. It freaked me out, especially when I found out Santa wasn't real and I used to sleep with my parents, and I knew that night that Santa touched my feet, my mom and dad were sleeping next to me, so I don't know if someone else broke into our house or what happened. Well, how's it going, you guys? I'm your host for this one, Landon Dallas. I'm just letting you guys know we just hit well over 10,000 subscribers in just a few days of our brand new channel. You guys can click right over here for the newest video, and we've also had thousands of comments saying that you guys love it so much, so I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you guys so much. The whole behind the scenes crew has been killing it, producing these high quality comedy videos for you guys, so if you guys are feeling down and you need a little bit of laugh or entertainment, we try our best on the brand new channel, Top 10 Central. Alright, let's get right into this one. This is the top 10 scary stories told that might be real, part 13. All of these stories were sent in from you guys, and if you want to be a part of 14 in the series, make sure you guys go in the comment section below and tell me your scary story. So starting off this list, and at number 10, we have a story from YouTube user PTSD to positivity. When I was a teenager, I had friends that lived with my mom and I. 4 days after her 18th birthday, she died from the flu and we were devastated. We had no pictures together and I wished we did. After her death, I kept having dreams where she would tell me, find the camera with the pictures on it. I was super confused and she was adamant in my dreams that I have to find the pictures. I had this dream often until I was about 20 years old and living in another state. My mom called me one afternoon and told me that she had been cleaning out her dresser and found a fun saver camera in it that she'd never seen before. She had developed it and she could not believe what was on them. It was pictures of me and her. I never had this camera before and there's no way I could have wound it up in my mom's dresser even if I had. It was very heartwarming to know that they weren't just dreams. She was really there to give me a message. I never really had that dream after that. I mean, this is really freaky if you think about it. I mean, how is it even possible? I guess at the end of the day now you have memories of you and your friend, but then again, these aren't memories you had to begin with. Moving into number 9, this scary story is called I See You, and it was sent in by Billy Clean. It was like any other night. I laid in my bed going through YouTube. As I was in the middle of watching a video, I heard a knock. I thought nothing of it. I continued the video until it happened again, and this time I noticed it was coming from my closet. I still continued, but it happened again, this time really loud. I could feel my hair and my arm jump up. I paused the video immediately and quickly walked to the closet, but nothing but clothes. I started to think it was coming from my head and went back to bed and tried to sleep. A few minutes later, it knocked again, this time 3 times. I couldn't even move, my body froze in shock. I knew it wasn't coming from my bed because of how real it sounded. It laid still, staring at the ceiling. It was dead silent. I was starting to calm down until my face dropped. A voice that I really can't describe said softly, I see you. After that, I used all my body power to get up and bolted downstairs and laid on the couch, falling asleep terrified. Okay, I know for me, when I was young and I'd get afraid, I couldn't move, I was paralyzed, something was just holding me down. Even if something was about to attack me, I would have no defense for that. I would just be attacked. Next up, number 8, this comes from Fairy Godmother. Hey, love your channel. I was about 4 when this happened. My family and I lived in a trailer a while back. It wasn't in a park or anything, just by itself. One night after my parents put my sister to bed, I had to go in the bathroom. To get there, you had to go through my parents' room. I was starting my way through when I stopped. I saw a figure. It was a man in a suit and a hat, maybe a fedora. It looked in my direction as I was standing on my parents' bed. I couldn't move and I thought I might pass out from not being able to breathe. It then stepped off the bed and walked across the room and disappeared. I only have seen him once after that encounter, and I hope I never do again. Is this real life right now? I really hope you don't either. And thank you so much for sending in that scary story. Number 7, we have a story from Tiffany Edwards, my scary story. So I was staying the night at a friend's house one night, and I was sitting in her living room watching YouTube. While my friend was asleep in her room, I looked over down the hallway to see if someone stepped out of the room that my friend was sleeping in. Now, I knew that it couldn't be my friend, and here is why. The person that stepped out of the room was made of dark gray smoke with glowing red eyes. Anyway, the thing started to walk towards the living room, but when it got through the doorway, it turned its head at me, and then poof, it just vanished. When it vanished, I ran to my friend's room to make sure she was okay, and sure enough, she was still asleep in her bed. That was 3 years ago when I was 10, but I still remember it clear as day. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. It's absolutely crazy, and don't worry, I believe you. And actually, we've had a few scary stories on this now about people just vanishing right in front of their eyes. It's pretty terrifying. Number 6, this one is from Fiona Harris. I remember when I was about 11, me and my family were traveling by train from Luton to Cornwall. I fell asleep on the train and began having a nightmare that Freddy Krueger was coming after me and slashed me across my stomach. I woke up to my mom asking me if I was okay as I was screaming. I explained the dream, and then I looked at my stomach and I had 4 long scratches across my stomach where he slashed me. P.S. Love you all. I like how you just terrify me in that story, and then all of a sudden it's like, P.S. I love you though. It's a very scary story, and thanks so much, Fiona, for sending that in. It's a true story. I mean, I can't explain it. I don't know how you have scratches on your stomach. Pretty messed up. I would try and stay awake for the rest of my life, because there ain't no way that I'm coming face to face with Freddy Krueger again. And at number 5, we have a story from Dark Star. I remember when my 5-year-old niece was blankly staring into a large mirror at her home. I asked, "What are you looking at there?" She replied, "You'll see soon enough because they're coming for you." Still freaks me out to this day. Well, it said that kids and dogs, they might be able to see ghosts. I'm not sure about cats. I'm not sure why. I don't make the rules. So maybe she was looking at someone or talking to someone in the mirror. Did anyone end up coming for you? Well, I guess not, because you were able to send in this story. Alright, number 4, the brother that came back to life. This one is from Luke Rothwell. When I was 8, I think, I was watching some videos on YouTube. A creepy, fully black male walked past my door, and I walked to call out who's there, but I remembered that in horror movies, that's how the protagonist dies. The next morning I was stuck in place in my bed and couldn't move until I went back to sleep, and still to this day, 3 years later, I wonder if that man was my dead first brother. Well, firstly, I'm very sorry to hear about your brother and how he passed away, and you know what, I think it could be possible, it's plausible that that could have been your brother, and maybe he just had some unfinished business or wanted to tell you something. I mean, did you tell your parents this story? What did they have to say about it? Number 3, the demon girl. This one is from Fire Eye. My scary story. When I was 10 or 11, it was around 2 or 3 a.m. and it was midsummer, and I was having trouble sleeping that whole week, feeling like something was watching me. I rolled over to feel a hand on my shoulder, and I shot under the covers and slowly rolled over and peeked through the covers, and right next to me was a small girl who looked 8 or 10. She was in a long white nightgown and had bright white skin. She had the dark jet black eyes and medium black squiggly lines coming from her eyes and fingertips. I stayed awake the rest of the night, but this wasn't the first time something like this happened. I still remember her face to this day. You should try to have like a sketch artist draw out what you saw in your dream, because I'm pretty curious to what they look like. Or imagine you had the sketch artist draw the girl and you posted the girl online, and everyone's like, oh my god, I had this girl in my dream as well, and this girl just happens to be in like multiple people's dreams. I mean, that would be pretty terrifying. I'm not sure how I would react. Okay, moving into number 2, the demon. Steve Von Gwyn said, I think it's time I share my story. When I was 14, I was in a boys group home in Southern California. I was just starting to get into crystal energy work, and I read somewhere that if you place 4 quartz crystals in the 4 corners of the room, it creates a protective barrier. So I did this in my room. One night I woke up out of a dead sleep with a cold chill. I looked around the room and saw nothing until I looked at my foot of my roommate's bed. There I saw a demon. It was about 2.5 feet tall and looked like it had the body of a gremlin, not the cute and fluffy version, but it had 3 heads. It looked as though it was trying desperately to try to get me, but it couldn't pass my roommate's bed. After what seemed like an hour or so, it was clawing at something, so I decided I wasn't gonna get it past, and eventually I went back to sleep. I know it wasn't sleep paralysis because I sat up. Well, I'm not sure how the heck you even considered going back to bed after experiencing all that. Finally, number 1, we have the Stitched Woman. My real life scary story. The Stitched Woman. When I was 5, I heard a soft cry from the bathroom. Note, I had a bathroom in my bedroom. I thought it was my imagination, then I heard my name. I saw a 3-year-old girl sitting in a puddle of blood. She had dark hazelnut hair. Her eyes and mouth were stitched closed. It was my friend. She died from abuse. Her jaw was hanging on by just a little bit of bone and flesh. Stitches were all over her body and neck, and there was also a slit in her neck. It looked fresh. I just snapped. I went to get a knife. The little girl, also known as Brittany, said, "Eat your grandfather's flesh and drink his blood." Then I woke up. Okay, now that's what nightmares are made of, and thanks so much for scaring me with that one and sending in your scary story. Don't forget, if you guys want to become a part of part 14 of this series, in the comment section right now, tell me your scary story and we're gonna feature you guys. That's it for me. I was your host, Landon Dallas, and I'll see you guys all in the next most amazing top 10 video.